Hi first graders! Today we're going to make a math toolkit out of stuff you might have at your house. I have made my own math toolkit out of stuff I have at my house, and I'll show you what's in it, and then you can build one on too. So first I'll show you what we're going to be putting into it. All of the regular stuff that we have, a couple of links here. So here you can print a plus minus die. It actually is blank and you'll have to write plus minus on the sides and build it. On this one, here's a printout for a 12-sided die, and here's a printout that you may or may not already have from before when I sent out some links for dice. You'll also want to find yourself a shoebox or a lunchbox and some glue, some counters. Our second page looks like this, some optional items here. Okay, I'll go over it with you. Here we go. All right, I'm just using Devin's old lunchbox. He's not using it right now. When we go back to school, I assume he'll want it back, so I'll have to empty it. If you don't have a lunchbox, you can use a shoebox that you might have, or maybe you have an old salad container, or maybe you have some other kind of container. You can also even just use your a big Ziploc, like a giant Ziploc baggie if you don't have any of those. I am going to use, you can either use a bottle of glue, you can use a glue stick, you can use a stapler, or you can use tape for your math toolkit. Anything to get your math into your journal. So I'm going to use the glue stick because I've got one, and set these other things aside here. If you've got your math journal, the one I passed out, go ahead and stick that into your math toolkit. If you don't have your math journal, that's okay. You can just use regular paper for this. I always like to keep a pencil in my math toolkit and a pair of scissors. If you're going to use your grown-up's scissors, make sure your grown-up knows so that they are not looking all over the house when they need their scissors. I happen to have some different dice at my house. I had a blank one, so I made a plus minus die. Here's my 6-sided die, and here's my 12-sided die. If you don't have those, you can print those out, either from the slide or from the lesson plans that your grown-up has. Here is a number line. If you don't want to use a number line, you can also use a ruler. You can see how very similar those are. On my ruler, it goes from 1 to 12, and on the other side, it goes from 1 to 30. You'll use it exactly the same way that you use your 1 to 0 to 20 number line. I'm going to go ahead and put my 0 to 20 number line in my lunchbox because that's the one we've been using for school. Your grown-up can also print a hundreds chart, a 120 chart for you from the links either on the slides or the lesson plans. If you're unable to print the 120 chart, you can go ahead and make one. Take a little bit longer, but then it will be perfectly your own. Some things that you could possibly use for counters. You could use coins. You could even go outside and grab a handful of rocks if you don't have coins. If you don't want to use either one of those, I made some from colored paper. I took 2 different color pieces of paper, I cut them into squares, I glued them together. Do they have to be perfect? Absolutely not. If you don't have colored paper, you can take regular paper and color it 2 different colors, either on either side, or you can take 2 pieces of paper and color them different and glue them together with your glue stick or your glue, or your stapler would work also. If you have a little Ziploc baggie, go ahead and get a little Ziploc, maybe a sandwich bag, maybe it's a dressing or a ketchup container. You can keep those in. If you don't have a small container or baggie, that's okay. You'll just have to keep a little bit better track of them in your lunchbox. Here's something that some kids might not have, but we had them hanging around our house because Coleman is a Lego maniac. We had some Legos. So instead of our counting cubes, I did 10 red Legos and 10 white Legos so that we can add together and see different things here. Thanks, first graders. Please let me know if you have any questions. I would love to see pictures of your math tool kits, and if you need anything, you can send me an email and or send me a Seesaw message and we'll get it taken care of. Have a good day, guys!